Okay, so we're going to do our last day of factoring, and the only difference is that we're going to have a value for a, so there's going to be a value at the beginning of our polynomial. So first thing to do is look for a GCF, take it out if there is one, and then factor. So for the first one, there is no GCF, so I don't have to worry about that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for my sum, which is b, and that's 3. And I'm looking for my product, which is a times c, and that's going to be 2 times negative 2. So that's negative 4. Factors of negative 4, negative 4 and 1, 4 and negative 1, negative 2 and 2. To add up to 3, it's going to be 4 and negative 1 are my magic numbers. So I'm going to make my box. I'm going to put the first number, 2n squared, in the first box, upper left. I put my negative 2 in the bottom right. I'm going to put, instead of 3n, I'm going to put a 4n and a negative 1n, and it doesn't matter what box they're in. Either one of those catty corner boxes work. Okay, so now I'm looking for greatest common factors, and I'm underlining right here for the top row because I'm looking for the greatest common factor with 2n squared and negative 1n, and the greatest common factor is simply n. For the bottom row, I can take out a 2. For the left-hand column, I can take out a 2 and an n. And for the right-hand column, since the top one is negative, I'm going to put a negative sign, and there's nothing they have in common, so I'm just going to put 1 for my greatest common factor. So here are my two binomials, and so my answer is going to be 2n minus 1 times n plus 2. And that's the answer. For the second one, I'm just going to find my magic numbers and use them to replace my 35. So still I have no GCF, so my sum is negative 35. My product is, I keep forgetting to put a b, AC, which is 2 times 17, which is 34. Factors of 34, 34 and 1, and I already see that since that's 35, negative 34 and negative 1 are going to be my magic numbers because they multiply to 34 and they add to negative 35. So I'm going to write my 2g squared. Instead of my 35g negative, I'm going to put minus 34g minus 1g plus 17. So my 17 is still there. I'm going to find my greatest common factor of the first two and the second two. So when I have 2g squared and negative 34g, I'm going to take out a g, and a 2. 2g. And when I divide, I end up with g minus 17. On the other side, I don't have a common factor, so 1 is going to be my greatest common factor. But since that would give me a negative g and a positive 17, I'm going to go ahead and factor out negative 1 so that when I divide by negative 1, I end up with positive g and minus 17. So my binomials are g minus 17 and 2g minus 1. And I didn't take out a greatest common factor, so that's my answer. Okay, I think I will do the rest of them, half of them one way and half of them the other way. So when I look at number 1, I think, wow, those are big numbers, but that's okay because I'm going to divide by the greatest common factor, which is 9. So I divide everything by 9. I'm going to circle my 9 so I don't forget it at the end, which I usually do. Okay, I'm going to make a box. So my sum is -4, and my product is -5. And for -5, my factors are -5 and 1, because -5 times 1 is -5, -5 plus 1 is -4. So in my box, I'm putting my x squared in the top left, I'm putting my -5 in the bottom right, I'm replacing my 4x with a -5x and a 1x. I'm looking for the greatest common factor in my top row, which is simply x, the only thing they have in common. For my bottom row, there's not anything, so I just write 1. For my left-hand column, there's an x that they both have in common. And for my right-hand column, I put a negative because this one is negative, and then 5 is my common factor. So here are my two binomials. I'm going to put my 9 in front, x plus 1, x minus 5. Number 2 also has a greatest common factor, which is 3. So I divide everything by 3, and I have 6d squared minus 5d minus 6. Okay, my sum is -5. My product is -36 because it's 6 times 6. My factors of -36 are 6 and 6, 9 and 4, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, and whatever that is, 18. Okay, my magic number is this. Remember to also look at 9 and -4 and make sure you pick the magic number that actually has a negative when you sum it. So I'm going to keep my 6d squared and my 6, but I'm going to replace my 5d with a -9 and a +4. So I have 6d squared minus 9d plus 4d minus 6. And I'll look for common factors. 6d squared, 9d, I have d for a common factor, and I think I have 3 for a common factor. When I divide by that, I have 2d minus 3. And over on the other side, I'm going to divide by 2. Yeah, 2. So that's going to be 2d minus 3. Yay, those are the same. When those are the same, I know I'm done. So I need to take my 3 and then multiply times 2d minus 3 and 3d minus plus 2. Straightforward. Okay, good. 2 more. All right, no common factor, no greatest common factor. Sum is 11. Product is 18. Factors of 18 are 6 and 3, 9 and 2, 18 and 1. That's all there is. So my magic number is 9 and 2 because that adds up to 11. I'm going to make my box. 3h squared goes in the top left. 6 goes in the bottom right. And my other two boxes, I'm going to have 9x and 2x, which are my magic numbers. Greatest common factor on the top row is, I should put h's instead of x's, 3h. Greatest common factor on the bottom row is 2. Greatest common factor in the left column is h. And the greatest common factor in the right column is 3. So I end up with 2. Let's try that again. I end up with 3h plus 2 times h plus 3. Okay, number 4 also does not have a common factor. So my sum is 19. My product is -20. So it's going to be 20 times 1, -1, +20. because that adds up to 19. So I'm going to have negative 4c squared, and I'm replacing my 19c with plus 20c minus 1c plus 5. I just never end up with an F ring over there. Okay, greatest common factor is 4c. When I divide by that, I end up with negative c plus 5. And this other one I'm going to divide by 1, and I end up with negative 1c plus 5. These are the same. So I end up with 4c plus 1 and negative c plus 5. So I don't know that either way is shorter or faster, so it's really just dependent on which way makes more sense to you. Okay, all we're doing in number 5 is multiplying all these answer choices together, or factoring, to see which one's right. So let's go ahead and factor, since that's what we've been doing. I have a common factor, which is y, and what goes into 12 and 62 and 80? I have no idea. It's 2, I guess. 6y cubed plus 31y squared plus 40. Nope, not y squared. Okay, so now I have 6y squared plus 31y plus 40, which is not particularly smaller, but okay. My sum is 31. My product is 40 times 60, which is 240. Factors of 240 that add up to 31. 24 times 10. I have no idea what else goes in there. 60 times 40, no, 60 times 4, 40 times 6, 9 doesn't go in, 3 goes in, 3 times 80, 8 times 30. Still haven't hit one that adds up to 31, have I? This is when I might pull out my calculator and go to y equals and put in 240 divided by divided by x. Go to my graph. Oh, 2 and 120, 3 and 80, 4 and 60, 5 and 48, 6 and 40, 8 and 30. I don't think any of these add up to 31. Ah, 15 and 16. 15 and 16 do. So my magic numbers are 15 and 16. So I'm going to divide this up. So I have 6y squared plus 15x plus 16, or y, plus 16y plus 40. Greatest common factor for that is going to be 3y. Greatest common factor for 16 and 40 is going to be 4. Well, let's divide this. So I end up with 2y, and I end up with 5. So I'm going to divide by 8, and I end up with 2y plus 5. So my answer is 3y plus 8 and 2y plus 5. So it's not C, D. All right. Almost last one. Okay. We're looking for okay. So if we have the area, 1/2 Oh, no, I don't. It's base times height. So I don't know the base, but I have the height. Wow. So I'm going to factor my 3x. Okay, there is no common factor. So my sum is 4. My product is -12. My factors are going to be 6 and 2. 6 and -2. So I end up with a box that has 3x squared and -4 and -2x and plus 6x. Greatest common factor, x. Greatest common factor down here, 2. Greatest common factor in my column is 2x, 3x. Greatest common factor in here is going to be -2. So I end up with 3x minus 2, x plus 2. So my base is this. So let's go back up to my picture. So this is 3x minus 2. This is x plus 5. And this is 3x minus 2. And if I'm looking for the perimeter, then I'm going to add those up. So I have 3x, 6x, 7, 8x. And I have 5, 10, 8, 6. So I have 8x plus 6. The coefficient of the leading term is 8. So in my box, I'm putting 8. That's my answer. A lot of steps, easy answer. All right, last one. We're just going to keep on factoring. All right, common factor. No, because 47 is prime, I think. Nothing goes into 47. Okay. Sum is 47. Product is 420. And again, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to put in 420 divided by x. I'm going to do second graph to go to my table. And I'm going to start looking through my table for whole numbers that add up to 47. 5 and 84 is too much. 6 and 70, 7 and 60. 10 and 42 makes 52. 12 and 35 make 47. So my magic numbers are 12 and 35. All right, so because I have room, I'm going to go ahead and split this up. So I have 10y squared plus 12y plus 35y plus 42. Looking for greatest common factors. This one's going to have y and 2. This one's going to have 7. And when I divide, I'm going to end up with 5y plus 6. I'm going to end up with 5y plus 6. So this one is, here's my 2y plus 7, which is this one. So 5y plus 6 is my answer for the other one. And whatever they're talking about up here with the rate, miles per hour and all that, all I know is they gave me one of my binomials and I'm looking for the other one. So don't get all hung up on kind of what the words are when all you're doing is looking for a part of your binomial.